The Boulder City Sports Network is sponsored by Superior Builders, Inc. of Nevada, building spec residential and commercial with our investment partners for nearly 20 years. Contact Aaron at sbinevada.com for more information. And the I&I Music and Podcast Studio. If you're interested in using the studio, you can contact Dawn at iandimusic.studio. And EV Park, revenue-generating charging stations for apartments, hotels, offices, and short-term rentals. Contact sales at evpark.com to find out how your property can generate a new income stream.
Okay, welcome back to the Coaches Show. Bubba, thanks for being back.
No problem.
Here we go. Boulder City viewers, Eagles fans, Boulder City Nation, millions of YouTube live viewers around the world. Welcome back to the Coaches Show. We missed you last week. You weren't here.
It was bye week. We had nothing to do.
Okay.
We talked to another coach.
We did. We did have another coach on. It was a great show with James Krakalici, but
it was a little weird when I tuned in and I was like, "That's not me." They just substituted another Italian guy.
We sure did. And boy, he can talk just about as much as you. But we're glad to have you back. So we're coming off the bye week. Tonight we're going to talk about the game against Clark a couple weeks ago. We'll talk about the game against Needles. We'll talk a little Pee Wee football. And
sounds good.
Here we go. Rock
I
and
like
roll.
it.
All right. So 2 weeks ago we had Clark at home. Final score was 28-20. It was a close game, a hard-fought game right till the end. Couple stats I just want to run by you. QB Asa Mariani, 11 for 21, 158 yards, 2 touchdowns. Great game for him. Cartier, 3 receptions, 35 yards. Hobbs, 2 receptions, 39 yards. Lot of good stats there. And you were quoted in the newspaper as saying that this team might not have expected how hard we came out to fight.
Yes.
Is that how you feel?
Yeah, no, and that's something that we've, it's a little corny and cheesy, and I don't necessarily mean to do it, but when I say it every time I go back to the movie. But one of the things I tell the kids all the time is we want teams to remember, win or lose, the night they played the Eagles. It's totally like a homage to remember the Titans.
Yeah.
But that's our mindset this year, and that's kind of what we tried to instill the last 2 years. But this group is they're really doing it. They're really taking it on, where they are, they're going out and playing hard from the opening whistle to the end buzzer, and that's something it's fun to be around, and it's a close game. We lost and we're all bummed, but when we sat and talked as coaches after the game, there were so many good things this week and so many kids that we're kind of checking off that are growing and getting better and doing the right thing, that we're very excited for what's going to be the rest of this year and into the future, because a lot of those guys are younger.
Yeah. What are some of those good things? What'd you see?
One thing, and I'll start off with it right off the bat, because I was the happiest about this, to be honest, is, Asa at quarterback took a huge step forward. And it's, week one, there was some freshman mistakes, and it's your first varsity football game. There's a lot going on. It's overwhelming. And he played fine. Against Sunrise, he played good. This week, even though we had an interception and a couple fumbles, he stepped up and really made plays when we needed it. Kind of the big thing for all of us as coaches, not so much the wife, but the coaches and myself, we saw him take a couple big hits this week, and he popped back up right away, which is huge. Even for as much football as he's played in his life and done that sort of thing, getting hit by grown men is completely different than getting hit by, an 8th grader, so that was a huge step. And, he extended some plays, and, we had 2 that he really did a good job of seeing what was going on in the pocket and getting out of there and still making a play, getting us a first down on a 4th and 15. And then another one that wasn't a great throw, but it got bobbled and all sorts of stuff. And Gavin Robinson made a play. It was good. I feel like he became our quarterback Friday night. I think that was the big thing, that it's not just oh, he's a freshman kid. It's no, this is our quarterback. So that was huge. I think defensively, the biggest growth thing, it's not an individual player kind of thing. It was as a team. So we've struggled over the last couple of years where teams will do something against us and it works. And then the team will do that same thing again 10 plays later, and it works again. And then 3 plays later, and it works again, and it works again, and it works again. And we don't really see and adjust and make changes. And this group they're different, and I said it early in the year that I think our defense is going to be good. And you look at the scores and it might not show what we are seeing, but the growth that they are making, and like they're taking accountability, and they are, making sure people are doing the right thing. It's really fun to watch. And again, it's that they ran that little counter against us, and they broke it the first time, but it got called back. And then they came back, they did break it again, and I was like, oh, here we go again. And then they ran it 5 or 6 other times the rest of the game, and I don't think they gained a yard, and like the kids understood, like, we've got to do our job to stop this, and they did. And like, I can't say it enough, but like Cam Matthews and like his leadership on that side of the ball is phenomenal. He's got he is such a linebacker. Like, if you guys could kind of hear like do like a mic'd up, like, I think it is very similar to, like, I don't even say a Ray Lewis, like it's more of like that, like Mike Singletary of like, I always go back to like the NFL film saying, like, I'm gonna be here all day, baby. Like, I am pretty sure Cam has said that exact line out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it really is, like, when he is playing well and he's confident and he's upbeat, everybody kind of follows suit, and it's a trickle down. And then you get Otis kind of doing the same thing. You get Seth Kirby doing the same thing. You get Cody Ayton doing the same. You know what I mean? Like, it's a fun group to be around. And I think, I'm not going to throw it out there that we're the 86 Bears, but at least or 85 Bears, but we're starting to do things that we might be the 86 Bears.
Yeah. Speaking of those linebackers, I have here that Cam and Otis each had 10 tackles.
Yeah.
And that's a lot.
Yeah,
20 between the two of them.
Yes. And they were, they locked up inside of the tackles, and for the most part, I don't think Cam had to go against him as much as Otis did, but it seemed like every time on film, number 79, I don't know if you saw him, he was
let's talk about that guy.
6'8", 300 pounds. I mean, he was just a mountain of a man, and he kept going at and pulling and hitting Otis, which Otis is definitely like our smallest guy on defense, and Otis just kept getting up. Like, I distinctly remember a play where 79 kind of went down, and Otis is getting up and like pushed off of him, and I was like, "Oh, Otis, geez, calm down."
So Clark has 2 guys that I guess D1 commits going to Washington or something. One of them was that mountain of a man that you said there, which was clearly a helmet above everyone else in size. I mean, just astronomical.
Well, and it's funny, like when they came out, all the kids were like, "Oh no, 79's playing." I'm like, "It's not a big deal," but like we're watching him walk up from like the gym, like down that like sidewalk. I'm like, who cares? So what? He's big. And then like as he like came up and walked by me, I was like, oh God.
He is big.
He was huge.
Yeah. But number 1, that kid played on both sides of the ball. Again, going to Washington next year or whatever. But I saw him talking the whole time to the sideline because he was on your side of the field. What was he saying?
What wasn't he saying? Okay. He was literally calling out everybody and telling everybody how good he was and stuff like. And it's one of those things where like I don't even get mad at it. Like I appreciate playing with kids like that. And there was one point where we were calling in a play and the ball was inside our own 20. So like, I'm not allowed to go past the 25. So I'm kind of standing on the 25 and Asa comes over to get the play and number 1's standing right by us. And like, he knows I'm giving him the play. So he like literally walks over and I can't be like, you need to get out of here because I'm technically on his side of the ball. And he walked up and I was like, what do you think we should run? And he was like, what? You talking to me, coach? I go, yeah. I go, you know what? Asa, just call something. Let's run at him. He's not that good. He's like, what? So like, I enjoy that sort of interactions. It's fun to see when kids are like that because it's just fun, and he was very harmless in it. You know, like I think some of our kids took offense, but we give it just as well as we take it, so that was fun. One of the things that we did talk about as a staff is at one point we put Axel in, who's also a freshman, and literally told Axel to just beat up on him. That's your job. Go in and get him. And then some of our guys started chirping that Axel was a freshman, and then Axel was still getting into him and blocking him good, and he threw Axel and got us a penalty, and we were like, all right, that works, you know?
Axel had a couple catches.
He did not. No, he did not. Okay. So that's something we actually talked about today, and I was like, we are going to get you a catch this week. Even if we have to, like, tell the other team, like, hey, he's special. Just let him catch it. Like, we're
throwing
going to
it
get
to
you
him.
one. And he was like, oh, you don't need to do that. I was like, listen, we're trying anything.
That's great. So you mentioned 3 mistakes that kind of cost you the difference in the game. What, want to go through those?
We had, I mean, and it's something that we've talked about for years. And this is every team talks about. You can't have, the mental mistakes and stupid stuff to give extra plays. And we had 3 of them, all kind of in the first half, that led to their stuff. I am going back a little bit on one of them because when you see it on film, wasn't as egregious as it seemed, although still not okay. The first one was on a third and long, where we hold them, they throw an incomplete pass, and they're going to kick a field goal at the best, and who knows if a high school kid's going to make the field goal. But then we get a late hit penalty on their quarterback, and then the next play, now they get a first down. Next play, they score. Then there was a punt return, and this is the one where I'm like, iffy. All right, I'm still not okay with it. But Cam did get blocked in the back and got pushed into where the pile was. And then he just kind of continued into the pile. He slid into it, didn't really hit. We could have avoided it, I think. But that gives them, instead of a first down on like the 40, now they're 15 yards closer, and then they go on and score from there. And then the last one was, which kind of was the worst of all, right before halftime, we get the interception return for a touchdown that it ties the game. And we get a blocking in the back, late hit thing way away from the play, and those mistakes like that kind of, I'm going to say, put 2 touchdowns on the board for them. Who knows? Like, we should have been able to stop them too, but kind of do that and then takes a touchdown off the board for us. That's, just doing the math right there. We win the game without those 3 plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in fairness, they were undisciplined too. They
Yeah,
had a lot of
100%.
penalties on
It
them
was,
too,
and that's the thing.
that's
Like,
football.
you can't, a lot of people will be like, well, it was both ways. But we can be better than that,
Yeah.
And we also had a lot of like offsides and stuff like that this week that we haven't really had a lot this year. So that was a little bit tougher. And it's tough no matter what level you're at. And you hear NFL guys talking about it too. When you get second and third and 2 sticks, like, there's not a lot of things that you can do in that situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just kills drives.
Yeah. Well, fun game to watch. The crowd
Yeah,
loved
it was awesome. And like,
yeah.
that's the thing too. And I told the kids, I would rather have that game and lose 10 times in a season than the Sunrise game where it's not close and it's not fun. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, those, I enjoy that game, and we had a bunch of those last year that were super close. And those are the ones that I will remember, the kids will remember, even if you come up on the short end of it, because it's a football game. Like, every play matters, that makes it, that's why you do it. It's not fun to play those teams where it's 40-0 at halftime. And, that's no fun.
So this was a 4A team, right?
Yes,
That we
yes.
played. So explain to me conference versus non-conference and the different divisions. Just,
So
how
there's
does that work?
There's a bunch of divisions in Nevada. 5A is the biggest.
Yep.
That's where you get your Gormans, Desert Pines, those kind of schools like that. 4A is big. There's a lot of 4A schools, and we've played Sunrise, who's 4A. We've played Clark, that's 4A, and we'll play El Dorado, who's 4A. How that's basically broken down, it's kind of weird because it changes often. But typically in most states, it goes by population within the school. And that's kind of how, for the most part, how it works. But yeah, so they're bigger schools. That's kind of what you get.
And we're
from
3A.
there. We're 3A, yes.
And have we always been 3A?
We have always been 3A.
Okay.
So Boulder City, Mawapa, Virgin, Pahrump, those are the forever 3A schools.
Okay.
And then other people kind of come and go. And
then
up
when
and
you
down.
say conference versus non-conference games, I guess that's what you mean. We're playing a 4A school. Like, when
Right,
it starts
so
conference, we'll be playing 3A
We
schools.
play all 3A schools. So like all the 3A schools in Southern Nevada make up our conference, and that's Meadows, Democracy Prep, and then the other of the big 4 in Mawapa, Virgin, and Pahrump. So that's our conference. So literally it doesn't matter all these games up until, we've got 2 more non-conference games. They don't really count towards any playoff standing or anything like that. These are those games, and this is where I like playing teams that are bigger or better. That's where a Fallon falls in, even though Fallon's 3A. But you want to play those good teams to test yourself to see what it's like when you're, for when it matters,
Gotcha. Yep. Okay, so on to needles this week. We're going to get into that in a minute, but can we diverge into the third grade team for a little while?
We can.
Okay.
That works.
So we had opening week up in St. George. We played our rival Mawapa. I don't think the score was how you wanted it to be. I thought we lost 21-0. I'm one of your assistant coaches, so I was there at the game as well. But how was it? What was it like going up there and first game with these little guys?
It's I am very glad that we played our opener on a bye week for the high school.
Okay.
All right. And you'll see as we coach,
Yeah.
it is very hard for me to turn off the Friday night into Saturday morning. All right. So not having had a game on Friday, I was definitely a little bit more calm and relaxed going into Saturday's game. But it is an absolute blast. I'm not going to lie. They know. I was upset. We didn't play great. It was kind of the first time it was official, and we kind of forgot what's going on. And it's fun to kind of be around the little kids where, like, there's certain kids that were in the huddle. I'm like, all right, you're going over here to your block number 22. And then the kid just looks at me. He's like, I want to sit with my mom. And I'm like, no, you need to block number 22. Like, the play's not going to work if you don't block 22. And he's like, after this play, can I go sit with my mom? So like it's stuff like that. And then kids lining up in the wrong position and not really knowing anything. And it's everything that third grade football is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Third and fourth grade football. But I think the kids getting the experience, and that's the hugest thing for us in that whole program, is they're playing in games. They're getting the experience of hitting. They're getting the experience of like knowing what it's like to just be out on a field, because you could watch it all day, but when you actually get out there and see it, it's completely different, and it's what I love about the younger kid and like the games, especially, is like, I get to be on the field with them, which is a totally different experience. Like I always tell people that, like, I love the camera boom thing on NFL games when it like goes right behind the offense, because you can kind of see what it looks like. It's a totally different view than up high on the side. And being back with them and like hearing them talk and like kind of talking smack to the other team, but mostly in like a little kid way until like Zay chimes in, and then it's like, whoa, Jesus, you can't say that.
Yeah.
But like just seeing the experience, it's awesome. And like knowing that we're going to kind of follow this group of kids for, if they stay with it 7, 8, 9 years, I'm so happy I got to see the first time,
Yeah, definitely. So Cam Matthews doesn't come over to the sidelines and want to go sit with his mom?
No,
too
not
often?
yet. If he does, maybe he asks Render. I don't know. They don't ask me about that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we were kind of stuck in the mud. It seemed like we were kind of slow off the ball, slow to the line, slow out of the huddle. I mean, is that kind of what you read out of it?
Yeah, 100. It was. It was just. It was a lot for them.
Yeah.
And like again, like trying to be, it becomes frantic because you've got to get out of the huddle fast, because at least 7 of them are going to line up in the wrong spot, and then you got to get them in the right spot.
So you literally moving people.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like it's like chess. You've got to go over here. You got to go over here.
Yeah.
And then like with like regular football, you don't want people to know what's going on, but like you're literally up on the line, and the coach will be like, you are blocking him. You are going to run right there.
Yeah.
That's where you're going. So
there were some highlights. I mean, Zay ran the ball great. I thought he had some awesome runs. A lot of tough tackles on the defense. I mean, there's a lot of good things out of that game.
There's football players there. Yeah. And it's fun because I think now, after seeing them in a game, we're going to move some guys around to do better with what they're good at. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to know what you're good at until you see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so there's definitely some kids that'll be moving around, and no, I'm excited for that group. It's going to be fun.
You've done a good job with them, because there's the balance between the intensity and the have fun part of it, and how do you balance that? How do you?
It's it's just, you've got to be able to kind of get into the kid aspect of it, and really explain to them that it is a game. Like, let's have some fun with it. And like, we laugh all the time because, and the older Bears coaches are like, you only practice for an hour? I'm like, that's what their attention span is. The other day we had to stop practice because it rained, because the kids are like, I can't hear. It's loud in the helmet. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you've got to take that into consideration. Sometimes practices might be 30 minutes because there's a butterfly, you know?
Yeah, exactly. This week we go back to Utah to the same field, Canyon View. Do we know anything about them, or we're just ready to
No,
go?
we know they're fourth graders.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
what we know.
Good deal. Great.
And hopefully they cut the grass.
Yeah.
That was the only thing. It was
That was
super
some long grass.
It was really
a
long.
hot day too. So speaking of the tight turnaround, I mean, how are you gonna go to Needles Friday night, sleep for maybe an hour or two, and then get up and when we're up there at 9 o'clock in the morning on.
Well, here's the deal. Like, if we win at Needles, it's much easier to go to sleep. If we don't win at Needles, you're getting coffeeed up Bubba that hasn't been asleep and is just ranting and raving about what happened the night before.
Yeah,
So those little guys really need to be cheering on the big boys.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy 12 hours for you
Yeah.
when you play 2 football games. All right, so let's talk about Needles. The Needles Mustangs are 2-0 this season.
2-1.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they played Saturday. They lost to Pershing County, I believe.
Okay. Won their first 2 games pretty handedly. They have a couple pretty good running backs, I hear. This Tanner kid and this Paxton kid, both averaging about 60 and 70 yards per game, 15 touchdowns last year. The quarterback's good. I don't know. This team on paper looks pretty good. What are you seeing when you scout them?
So they're a 2A school.
Okay.
So Nevada 2A school, even though they're in California. It's like Truckee up north that plays in Nevada because there's no California schools close to them. They're perennially a good team. You know, they get to the semifinals often, if not state. In 2A, they're well coached and they're a good football team. They're solid. You know, their kids are going to do what they are coached to do. You know, you kind of watch the film and like you can tell what everybody's job is on each play because they do it. You know, and like that's a kind of a huge compliment that I can give them because like you watch some other films and you know we talk about it all the time, me and Parker. When we're breaking down film and stuff, and he's like, are they in cover 3 or cover 1? I'm like, it's hard to tell because nobody's doing anything, you know? But with Needles, like you could tell they're coached well, you know, you could tell what their assignments are and they do it. You know, I think our big thing, and I told the kids this week, like we've got to go out and play the way we have the last, honestly, even 3 weeks, you know, again, minus the first quarter at Fallon, we've played very good football and done our job and we do that. And I think it bodes well for us this week.
How does the bye week help or hurt you? You think?
So usually a bye week's one of those weeks where like you can kind of like install a lot of stuff and do some crazy things. That was kind of my plan initially, but we've had some horrible bug going through literally all of Boulder City. It's not just like the football team, like everybody's been sick, that we kind of took a week off of football. And I wasn't mad at it. You know, we've been going pretty much straight since June.
All summer.
And having a chance to kind of take a week off during the bye and just kind of recover and chill and get your grades caught up and things like that is not a bad thing. I think this week in practice, we went hard on Monday, which usually we don't. And then Tuesday was a good practice, even though we couldn't do our defensive stuff. Somebody might have forgot the notebook. I don't know which camera's on, but I'm looking at you, Isaiah Render. Yeah. So we had to like switch practice around a little bit, and but it was a good week. Like it was chippy at practice, which the kids are ready to play. So there's guys like fighting a little bit, and that's always a good sign for me. You know, so we're ready to go. Like I think kind of taking that whole week off and getting back in and getting some hard work early in the week. You know, today was a physical practice. It was good. You know, so.
On a week like this, do you on Thursday, do you just walk through? Is it a light practice?
This week we will, because we went pretty hard Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The kids were doing good. So tomorrow we'll go just helmets and kind of run through all of our special team stuff, make sure everybody knows who's on what, where they're supposed to be. And then we'll run through kind of our offense on air, and then we'll do scout offense will run against the defense. So that's kind of the only like 11 on 11 kind of stuff, but it's just kind of get to your spot, touch the guy, we're done.
Okay.
You know?
Same team on the field. How's the health report? Anybody injured?
Good.
Sick?
We should.
Good?
Well, we lost Kale Starley. Got hurt at the very end of the game against Clark. Sprained AC joint. Is that a thing up here? AC joint, I think. I think that's what it is. Okay. So he's out for a little bit. It's pretty severe sprain. But we do get Nate Lewis back. So Nate was kind of the guy that against Sunrise really stepped up in the backfield. But then last week we had Jolton and Kale both step up and look great. So we now we've got 2 guys going in this week again. Nate, we kind of told him we'll be on a little bit of a pitch count just because his hamstring was pretty tight, that, want to see him run, but also don't want to overdo it in a game that, in the grand scheme of things doesn't matter. We want him for the conference stuff.
Yeah. Last year seemed like a lot more injuries than this year. Is that true? Or?
Thanks for jinxing us,
I don't know.
jerk. Yeah.
No, I mean, it just means the team's healthy.
Yeah. Okay.
And strong.
Great. Is there
and you
wood?
worked out.
Is there wood? Was this thing that thing wood?
Yeah.
No, we've been pretty lucky this year. Little
But I think
dings
that's
here and there.
conditioning.
I think it is a lot,
how
and
you
I
spent
think
the summer.
and I think it's a huge thing that I don't know if this is proven or not. This is just my old school belief. The fact that the kids are lifting as hard as they are, I think that kind of plays in a lot to us being a little bit healthier. You can take a little bit more of a beating when you're working your muscles, and I think that's been huge for us this year. So we'll keep that going.
Friday, you guys head down there all together on the bus and leave early from school?
No, we don't leave early from school. We go.
7:00 game. Yeah.
We leave at like 3:45.
Okay.
So it's a little bit later than I want, but it's bus schedule thing. We really don't get much say in that. So we leave at 3:45. We'll get down there basically in enough time to get dressed, and then we'll be out on the field to warm up right away, which sometimes isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I do like the slow build up, but sometimes it's not bad to just get off the bus and play.
Yeah. Kind of thinking that with the Pee-wees too. It
Yeah.
might be good for them to just get out of the car and go. Expecting a big crowd from Boulder City?
I think so.
what's it like?
I think there's a lot of people that
All the
will
parents.
make this, because it's not super far. It's like going to Moapa basically. And last week, we played good. I think we've kind of quieted some of the haters, if you will. Yeah, I just use that, the haters. Because and I think I said this earlier in the show, previous shows, that people kind of wrote us off this year, and I'm not playing because I don't think they're going to be good, but we're pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And I think we're taking those little steps each week and becoming better and better, that I think the fans see it. So I think moms and dads are a little bit more I want to go watch them play. Let's see what's going on.
Well, the intensity's there.
Yeah.
I can tell you from where I sit in the stands, I mean, it's an intense 4 quarters of
Yeah.
football no
Yeah.
matter what.
We're a football
These
team
kids
this
are
year.
excited to
Yeah,
play football.
it's fun.
For every game. Okay, I think we're going to wrap it there. Do you have anything you want to close with?
No, not at all. If you're getting down there, head down early. There's
Okay,
not
7:00 game?
7:00 game. If you're coming down as a parent, bring a chair because they've got very small bleachers on our side, so you can kind of sit along. It goes back to the old school, sitting in the lawn chairs watching the game. So it'll be fun. But get out there. I'm excited to see what we can do and where we're growing. It's going to be fun.
Great. Well, we wish the Eagles good luck. We thank you for being on the show tonight.
Thank
Boulder City, come on out down to Needles this weekend if you can make it. Watch the Boulder City Eagles play. We'll be back next Wednesday for another edition of the Coaches Show. Thanks for being here.